We're back, guys. We're back in our birthplace.
Yeah.
We've made the travel back in time.
It's just like, it feels, there's something nice and familiar about it. You know what, actually?
I like my computer.
Yeah, there you go. You have like a nice...
I have all of the things. I have all the sound bites. I got...
The stream shouldn't have a problem today, like
Nope.
we've experienced at Girth.
No.
Man, we really gotta like figure out a way to like get our shit better over there. For everybody's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, we won a lot like by moving to that studio. Like it's so nice, and the studio is so nice, right? And it's in terms of like the sound disturbances that we were getting before, or like or at least how unpredictable the sound
that's
around
right.
here
Yeah.
was, because sometimes we would get like what, like the school children, like every once in a while.
This is just shouting children. Just,
Yeah. So I think like maybe like that aspect is nice, but we still like we'll get better at the getting
Absolutely.
it together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was just a few months where everything was just sort of up and.
But here we are, episode 111.
Ooh.
Yeah. Cool. Ooh la la.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And a good race.
111.
You guys are gonna have to tell me about it because
111 of what?
111 episodes.
Flat out fever.
Flat out fever. Yes, there we go. We were supposed to have like a good song for it today too, but alas, maybe that next time.
We gotta get raced instead though.
Yes. Hey, actually, speaking of going back to this familiar grounds, our old the birthplace of Flat Out Fever.
Yes, that's right.
The All Talk is On studio here at your place, Mike. And you know what also felt familiar about today?
What's
like
that?
just like Ferrari fans will relate to this. It did feel like going back to Europe, going back home or whatever. Like it feels whatever. And we're back in our studio, and Ferrari is back to screwing themselves in strategy.
Ooh. Is that what happened?
It almost feels like it felt like back in the day, man. Like when Alonso was driving for Ferrari, 2012, 2013 kind of days. Like when you're like you just saw them like in front of you, like just get a bit too frazzled and throw the entire race after a great start by their driver. Which, by the way, like how good? Actually, you know what? Yeah, you didn't see a race.
No, did not see the race. So I don't know.
You
At all. I don't know who won. I don't know who. All I know is that Alonso qualified.
Oh,
10th, right?
7th, actually.
7th.
Yeah.
7th. Holy shit! He must have had a boner the whole time.
Dude,
the whole weekend.
Jesus.
Can't go see a doctor.
Exactly. and McLaren fans all over. But still, as big a news as that was yesterday, and that was all the news yesterday. The news today is just how crazy that race was. Even though the outcome was like, it's still like, the guy that started on pole finished the race in first place. But there's definitely way more to it than that.
Yeah, the first corner.
Yeah.
Just Bottas took out Raikkonen, took out Verstappen. Boom, boom, boom. Well, Bottas kept going for a while, but
no, yes, but no. What happened is that so then he caused like dominoes piling over. He caused Raikkonen to take out Verstappen basically.
Yeah. Which broke Raikkonen's steering. His fellow Finn broke his steering.
But that basically made the race. Exactly. It all happened in that corner.
It was pretty cool too.
Brundle was so pissed. He was like, this is Brundle was like, this is such like he was like, this is all. He called them amateurs. No, he didn't, but he was like, this is
implying it.
Yeah, like this is kind of amateur driving from all these guys because everybody they were kind of like all like piling up onto each other. Alonso went off-roading for a little bit.
Yeah, because of that, he was forced to go off-road on the inside of the corner, bouncing across the grass.
But okay, so Vettel got a really, really good start though, and leading up to the Grand Prix, Ted, with his notebook or whatever, I think it was for the qualifying notebook or whatever, he did a feature where he showed that Mercedes, how they were doing the start, and you know how like. Bottas had a great start in Russia, and the Mercedes had been working on improving their start procedures.
Right.
Apparently, there's this just extra lever or whatever like that they put behind the steering wheel. That's like just a shorter lever that they do something with it anyway. Mercedes did, and both Mercedes cars have this. So Ferrari is now started to try it out, but they didn't put it on both cars. Kimi Räikkönen had the previous wheel, but Vettel did. And Vettel, like, so clearly something works about, that little lever, whatever it does. I don't know what it's doing, even if it's just for, like, just better, like, tactile feedback for the driver. Whatever it is, like, clearly, like, there's something to it, man, because Vettel, like, shot right past all of them at the start. It was incredible to see. It was like back at seeing, like, Fernando Alonso do one of his great starts in a Ferrari.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, it is better tactile feedback, just a shorter lever. You just get a.
So they just forgot there was an extra button. They're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, do you remember this part of the car?"
Well, I mean, I think like the clutch, I guess, the clutch paddle is just always like a lot longer. But I guess they just introduced an additional bit now just for the start, just so they can get that, like, because they have to. The deal is that whereas before it was all done like automated, like the gearbox basically took care of making sure that as soon as they drop the clutch, the car would engage and go right off the bat. Now they have to, like, they kind of removed the technology that made that possible by regulation, and now the drivers have to have like that tactile feel to know when to drop the clutch to get that the bite point and get off the course. Otherwise, like, they'll, you get wheel spin or whatever, which apparently they did. And this is what Vettel was saying in the conference, that apparently he got some wheel spin, and so did Lewis, but somehow the Ferrari managed it a little better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that led to them fighting it out the whole race, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Crofty was so happy because something that he said, I'm sure in passing or whatever, actually came true. Like, he was saying, like, oh, I wonder whether or not Mercedes actually have managed to pressure Ferrari into calling Vettel too early, and you could say that that's exactly what happened.
That's what Ted kept saying.
Yeah.
I think so. I really think that's what they did. Ferrari tricked them, or Mercedes tricked them into going to change the tires early.
Because they didn't. They still didn't end up having. So what happened is that, what they didn't want to be in a position of, but is to be forced to, like, do an undercut where you pit your driver early to get that pit stop out of the way.
Right.
And then you play on this strategy. You play on then knowing that the other team is gonna have to pit, and then like, you try to place it so that you leapfrog each other on like that last pit stop, and then it's a race to the end. But a number of things just did, and whereas like that could have worked for Ferrari maybe if it had been a perfect race, for the rest of the race, maybe they just put themselves in a position where, if a safety car happened, then they'd be in trouble. And it did. So virtual safety car came about.
The virtual,
and that fucked them because it gave Mercedes basically a free pit stop. And then they were just battling it out. But what I was saying is that, man, Ferrari, like, they always, like, this is what they used to do. This was like their signature move. They would, out of all the possibilities that they had in front of them, all of the different strategies ahead, they would just always seem to go for, like, the impulsive one, the high risk scenario.
And even at the end of the race, they're saying to Vettel, like, should we just go for option C? What do you think? Should we do it? Let's go for option C. They wanted him to pit 3 times, and then try to, I don't know. There was no chance of them catching up, like, just blow their engine up trying to do that.
No, and
option C.
Listen, they were probably thinking that because Mercedes actually looked pretty competitive during the 2 tests. I think what everybody was expecting was that the 2 Mercedes were just gonna run off with it.
Right.
But when Vettel got, like, that amazing start, I think that they just simply were not considering that was gonna happen so good, like, and so swiftly. But and then they had a different thing now to consider because extra pressure because Kimi was out.
Raikkonen got taken out. That kid was crying. Everybody was like, "Oh, Ferrari, man, you made this kid cry."
How dare you?
Oh, we'll tell you about this kid. It's actually a pretty nice story.
It's a feel-good story?
Yeah, very, very feel good.
Cool.
Tomas or I don't know. Thomas. I think if it's French, it's pronounced Thomas. Anyway,
Yeah, he's Thomas. Tom.
Tomboy. But so it's Ferrari. Raikkonen, he got into a crash, so there's added pressure on Ferrari to score the maximum amount of points, and now all the pressure just fell on them getting the strategy right for Vettel. But then they clearly overthought it. I saw as soon as something happened that they weren't predicting, and when they went for the emotional choice, high risk, high reward, then this is what happened. But I think
They might as well have anyway, though, especially after Bottas' car
because
blew up.
but I think that they actually didn't. They thought that the Mercedes was going to be better on the tires, which it wasn't. Lewis's tires were overheating. No, but Lewis's tires were overheating.
He said that on the radio.
Yeah,
doesn't mean they were.
No, but they must have had some sort of telemetry to indicate them so. And
Yeah, but who did?
Mercedes.
Yeah,
I
maybe,
guess so.
Yeah, maybe they were just pulling strings again, just talking shit on the radio.
My tires are overheating.
They can see the numbers. They say they're overheating.
It's some sort
I
of
don't think
some
his
sort of a
tires were
code.
overheating at all. He almost did the purple lap on the second last lap. Those tires were fine.
Yeah, but Alonso also got close to like doing like the fastest lap of the race during the last half. I don't think that was with low fuel.
So
and
you
whatnot.
think if the McLaren could do that on the same, the tires are just as old as Hamilton's. If the McLaren could do it, the Mercedes could definitely do it. Yeah, his tires were fine. I think they were just talking shit to scare the Ferrari into trying to go for option C and fucking up all their chances.
No, yeah, like really, really like get in their head.
Because Vettel was in second. Once the it's like you didn't see the race.
Right.
Bottas's car, the engine blew up. Like fire was shooting out from
Holy
underneath.
smokes.
So he didn't finish the race. Once that happened, they won. Ferrari was in second place no matter what. They could have maybe got first, but at the halfway point of the race, Ricciardo was 13 seconds behind, and at the end he was just under a minute behind.
I'm looking at the results of this Grand Prix, and the top three are. It's just all very interesting. And then 4 or 5 Force India.
Yeah, look at Ricciardo. He's
sorry.
Where did he finish in third place? He's a minute and 13 seconds behind in third place.
It wasn't even a contest.
Yeah, and Vettel was right behind, and Vettel got screwed right on the second last lap there by Massa.
Yeah.
Well,
again by Massa.
He basically screwed himself because he braked too late, and then he's like, "Oh, this Massa again," but it was his own fault. But he wasted like a couple seconds right there. But still, he probably wouldn't have passed Hamilton. He let it down. If he had like 2 more laps, maybe. But no.
On a clear track with no back markers in the way, maybe. But again, Ferrari just put themselves in that position where they had to really go for these odd chances.
Yeah, you did, and then you didn't see it like Ricciardo. He got handed that third place. Look at that. From 4th place down, everybody was lapped.
Yeah.
And Daniel Ricciardo, their car's fast, but he got still handed that third place because think about if his teammate didn't get taken out, he would have had to challenge. So they probably just cruised. They just said like, let's save the engine, whatever. We're in 3rd place. That's all we get. Like whatever. And you know what I mean?
And he
might have gotten 4th.
And people are
Verstappen was still in the race. He probably would have been in 4th. Sorry, Dans are supposed to stick together. I feel bad saying that, but
no, Verstappen was
Verstappen would have took 3rd place.
Yeah, he was performing better than Ricciardo, which is kind of scary to think. But
Ricciardo did say for next race, he's at least as keen as a 2-4 pack of mustard. So he's. we should
Australians are
expect a
fucking
lot from him on the track next race is what I'm saying. Or that's what he's saying.
That's what it sees. Yeah, that's exactly.
That was a quote. That was a direct quote. He's as keen as a 24-pack of Mustang. Keen's is good though. You know that those little small ones.
Yeah. Oh, I know them. Woo. This did not finish group really makes the grid look interesting
up here. Yeah,
up here, right?
Yes.
Because Hamilton, Vettel, but I mean this stuff here is crazy.
And with that double point finish there, they just dethroned Mercedes as the team that has scored points consistently with both drivers for 15 races in a row.
Holy shit.
Bottas didn't finish. So the previous title holder was Mercedes, but now Bottas didn't finish. So now, the two Force India drivers are like, this is a team that, you know, luck is undeniably smiling on them. Yeah. But they've
been too consistent.
But they exactly, you make your own luck. They've been there. They've managed to put themselves in a position where they've been there to capitalize on anything that happens. So there's a crash at the top, then you like they're there. Yeah, we'll
like they're flies doing on shit, right?
They are. Look at that. For outside of any team now, that are the top, like let's call it the top four. I mean, that's because we're not including McLaren in this. McLaren, geez, they're the team that are clearly doing a better job than anybody else,
right?
By a lot,
especially in the midfield, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like what we have, Renault, Toro Rosso, the Williams, we sort of expected a bit more out of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at with Verline up, you didn't expect, you don't even know where to look for him.
Yeah, with last year's Ferrari engine.
Yeah.
8th place.
Yeah.
Driver of the day right there. Did he win it? I don't actually know.
No, Vettel did.
Vettel? What?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
But I mean, he did drive a really good race. He did
I think it should have
put up a great fight.
Either been Verline or Hamilton.
And then sorry.
Whatever.
And then how about our Canadian boy Lance Stroll? How did he do?
Well,
obviously coming in last, but
lapped twice.
But
he got passed at the very end of the race by Massa, his teammate, who was crashed out at the start of the race. Like he had the extra pit.
Yeah,
because of that.
Just not performing well then in that race.
No. He's
not performing well this season yet.
This is he claims that he hasn't raced here. I guess he knows the track from practice, from preseason testing, I guess.
But he doesn't know it like.
He that's what he was saying. Listen, I haven't raced here yet.
And it's like it's hard to like, especially when it's been like so much bad luck. But he got knocked out of 2 races this season. Right?
Wasn't 3? 2?
No, 3. 3. Oh, he didn't finish 3 of them. The first 3.
If he got knocked out, like Perez took him out.
Yeah.
Perez took him out. Was in China. And what was the other one?
So he just hasn't had like enough like competitive racing.
We're judging him on 2 races. He has taken himself out too, but he's got taken out twice. So not his fault.
A bit of a jumping point. Question from Black Inferno from the chat. It says, which team has a bigger performance gap between their drivers, Renault or Williams?
Renault.
Renault's got the bigger gap.
Yeah, still. Did you see how much further?
Palmer and
freaking Hülkenberg.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I mean,
I'm not saying that right? Just because, in the scale of like, I'm not saying that, Palmer is performing better or worse than Stroll, but. Just Hülkenberg way up here, overperforming every single time that they've been out.
Yeah,
like driving like a maniac too. But we kind of expect that of him. Like he's really like letting himself shine. He's been pretty impressive all season long, actually. In that, given the circumstances, right? Like all things considered, with the Renault, he's just wiped the floor clean with Palmer, provably so. The thing about the Williams is that we have such a small sample size,
right?
And for a while there, if you ask me, like not in this race, but but in Russia, like the gap between Massa and Palmer, or is it Massa and Stroll, didn't seem as big as the Palmer and Hülkenberg gap.
A close one, Wehrlein and Sauber, but I think at the same time for like what they're driving, Wehrlein's killing Ericsson. And then he missed again the first more than half of the season so far.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's been back for 2 races, whatever.
Oh yeah, no,
you know what I mean.
Since that accident, like it's like he kind of like woke up and was like, all right, I let's go, let's give it full beans now.
And like in a way, like Ericsson kind of is Sauber. Like he's kind of like he's like the guy there.
Yeah. He is. He's bringing in the money.
But this, that's what I mean. And this kid is now kicking his ass on track.
Well, but okay.
Hopefully he read all those bad articles about him last year. And
that's what I'm saying.
Took a deep breath and now he's come back better for that. And then almost killed himself in go-kart.
That must have really like put things in perspective and like really
a lot of time to think.
That kind of shit really like makes you grow up a little bit. You know what I mean? When you go and crash and almost die. Yeah.
Oh shit! My life flashed before my eyes.
Yeah, and plus, and then everyone was writing articles about like how he was arrogant in interviews and stuff, and kind of like
because that is something that people would say that he would have progressed. He might have even been in contention for a genuine chance to like be put in the second Mercedes seat instead of Bottas if he hadn't been such a piece of shit, basically.
He was acting like he was better than people behind the scenes type of thing. Just annoyed people, wasn't personable in interviews enough, and I don't know. I don't know. That's what people were writing about him.
Yeah. I just want to take a minute to go back because one thing that I noticed is fair enough that like the people that write these negative stories about any driver, really. I mean this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's what sells print, I guess. That's what sells like traditional media, legacy media, I guess I'd like to call it, instead of mainstream media. And they're not so mainstream anymore. But let's go the legacy media. A lot of what it sells is essentially crap, right?
I like that term.
And the stuff that sells is like all these negative stories about like this and that, and what I'm saying that because during the press conference, especially the team principals press conference leading up to this Grand Prix, there was just like a bunch of when Irving Bennett was there, like reporters started hounding him, basically like being like, oh, ha ha ha, like, or like kind of like being like, you know, Liberty Media, like they're saying that they need more fan engagement and they need more access to the fans, but Ferrari, like you guys haven't been giving us enough access to you. And like Bennett, and he got asked that like, and at first Bennett was like kind of tried to like peacefully,
no, fuck off.
like peacefully put it away and like kind of divert it, but then some other reporter was like, actually no, I'm gonna keep asking you why aren't you like letting us have access to your as much access to your drivers or whatever, why? And then everybody was like plain and simple, like, listen, yes, the commitment with Liberty Media is that we they want to push more engagement and with the fans and more access with the fans. So what we've been doing the first few Grand Prix is that on Thursday, instead of having like a full day, with the press, we had one of our drivers, Kimi, just go out,
the more likable one,
go off and do social media, social media stuff and live stream stuff on the side with their own in-house stuff, so no access to the legacy media, right? And that's what was pissing them off.
Crazy.
And and like it was so evident that they just want to they're these newspapers, they're pissed off because Ferrari is not allowing them to talk to the drivers as much because they're doing social media stuff on the side, right? So that's where it left out. It was kind of like a weird, like awkward press conference for many other reasons too. Like they asked something to Cyril Abiteboul, and he was like, "What do you want me to comment on a no comment?" Like, do you remember watching that?
No, I didn't see that.
So they asked Toto Wolff about the relationship with Honda, and like Yeah, these people, they just try to like kind of put landmines in front of these guys.
Oh yeah, it's like, how you gonna react to this?
Yeah. No, well, no. This is so this is what they said. Oh, to the engine manufacturers, we hear that Mercedes is gonna be helping out Honda. Like, like
What do you say to
yeah,
that?
yeah. What do you think about that? Then the first person to talk was Toto Wolff, and he said, actually, we can't comment on it. And then like Cyril, they're like the other guy next was Cyril Abiteboul. He was like, what do you want me to comment on a no comment? Like what? And which is true. Anyway, yeah, these newspaper guys and the legacy media people, they just don't get it that's yes, Liberty Media, it probably wants better and more fan engagement. But the way that they're going to get it is not going to be through the traditional means. No. Not at all.
No way.
And then they scored, and then to kind of rub it in like everybody else's face, I must have been, that must have been one of the motivations, maybe. But if not, like it had the same effect. Then they did this stunt with the kid. And I'm not saying that it was a stunt or that's, you know, as
on paper, it's a stunt.
You know, it was a beautiful gesture. So here's what happened. Kimi Räikkönen, you saw, got taken out at you know, in the first lap, and then they zoomed into this kid.
Cut to the kid.
Yeah, to this kid in the stands.
Just like everybody else, I think.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
When I saw that.
Yeah. But it was kind of like a heartwarming thing, right? Like this kid, right? Like it's you know, like a tiny kid. He's just like sitting on someone's shoulder or something, and he's just crying, like so sad that Raikkonen got taken out.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then later on throughout the race, after like, so when Kimi was like walking through the paddock, turns out that Ferrari had one of their staff quickly issue a VIP pass for this kid, and they brought him into the paddock with I guess his parents to come and meet Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh my god!
He gave him his cap. He took a picture with him.
That's the smartest thing they could have done
on camera during the race.
Oh, dude, beautifully executed.
Right?
And then the kid was laughing, and I started crying. No, I'm kidding. I didn't cry.
Overall, I mean, we are. I agree with this one comment on Reddit. Go to that to the book. It's like the second link there. You know, externally we're all like, oh my god, that's such a heartwarming story, but.
This one? Are you sure? Okay.
No. Well, this is something that somebody on Reddit like posted after saying like, listen, yeah, we're like, people are saying like, yeah, oh, it's so cute, but then like internally you're like so jealous.
Yeah. This reminds me of what happened with Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And in an away game in Washington, there was like this guy that the camera just happened to focus in on. And the sea of red and white, that's the Washington colors. But this guy with this painted face of blue and white, big burly beard, like kind of like weird crooked teeth, but he just had a dart in his mouth, like a cigarette. And like that became like a thing, like a meme, like a meme-ified itself.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
memes are just coming out of everywhere.
The Toronto Maple Leafs media just grabbed a hold of that. They took it, they gave him 2 free tickets for the next 2 games in Toronto. And no lie, they showed this guy like in the stands of the home game, and after that point the Toronto exploded and ended up winning that game.
What?
It was kind of ridiculous. So like it reminds me of that sort of a situation.
Yes,
like, you might as well take advantage of what you can, right?
Absolutely. And obviously this is a great.
I'll find a picture of this dark guy because you guys are gonna love it.
I think I saw something, but I think it is what you're talking about. Anyway, I saw a picture of some guy with a big beard and a face painted with the Leafs.
It's gonna be funny for this kid though. It's gonna be funny for this kid though when he grows up and realizes he was exploited on F1 weekend for some.
He was memified.
Italian,
it wasn't so much of a meme as it was like
turned him into a commercial.
Right? Yeah, it's like a MasterCard commercial, or some shit like that.
Yeah, no,
you never know where your children are.
But this is amazing, and I think that if it wasn't encouraged in any way, or at least a little bit, by Liberty Media, I'd be surprised, because this is great publicity. Like, man, it kills so many birds with one stone.
Yeah.
It's great publicity for this sport
Yeah.
because now, they know how committed Liberty Media have been for fan engagement, and apparently they arrived with Spain in Spain with a bang. Like zip lines, like just apparently everything just seemed a lot like more fan driven.
Yeah.
To the point,
there was a lot of attendance. It seemed like
yeah,
the stands were pretty packed.
yeah, and now. So besides everything that they're doing there on the track, and as you know, to make it very attractive for you to go there as a fan, you know, with the more access to the drivers and whatever else, like they raffle, like I guess you can win, as a fan, like you can be taken around the track on the 2-seater F1 car.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like all kinds of cool things like that.
Yeah.
But also now you're gonna see this on TV. And now, because of that, that's gonna boost the attendance to the next few Grand Prix is gonna go way up, especially the European ones. Because whereas before, like people didn't, like people love this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, and if now for the next race you think like, oh, you know, should I go? Should I not? I have the money, but it's kind of a pain. Oh, but now I hear that actually going to the track is actually not so bad because it's this is that. Oh, and now maybe I have the opportunity to meet my hero, or like maybe like, you know, whatever, like something like that might happen.
Right.
Like some cool crazy shit might happen. You're gonna buy that ticket.
More incentive.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Okay, but a couple weeks ago I showed you this. They're advertising this F1experience.com. This F1experience.com website, and then you go there, and it's like, oh, for like they're advertising tickets now for experiences for the Monaco Grand Prix, like meet David Coulthard, go for a walk with him around, and there's like different tiers of
experiences,
different experience tier packages, like silver, gold, platinum, world class member, diamond package, crystal, alien, gems, whatever. It just keeps going up and up in levels.
Yeah.
None of them have the price available because they're ridiculous. They include, like, you know, meet David Coulthard, and then there's a next level you can actually go the next day on a tour, like around the whole circuit with him, and he'll explain the history of the corners and stuff like that.
Oh Jesus.
And then there's other stuff in your packages, like driving the two, or going for a ride in the 2-seater F1 car. But it was in Spain this weekend. It broke down. But I don't know if anyone saw the Ted's notebook after qualifying, post-qualifying Ted's notebook. He ran into Frankie Muniz or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Malcolm
Malcolm in the middle. Yeah.
He was talking about he got to go for a ride in that thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you know, I used to drive like Formula USA.
No, Formula Atlantic.
Formula, yeah, whatever, some shit like that. And
that's where Gilles Villeneuve made his name.
This F1 experiences, though, they're now have it on the billboards. Like, it took a couple weeks, but like on the whatever, the crash walls around the circuit, did you see it? Where it normally says, you know, Heineken, Rolex, Etihad Airlines, whatever, all the different beers and shit. They're advertising F1 experiences.
Yeah. They have been for a while.
I just started noticing it now. Anyways, but yeah, the enticing. These are like celebrity level price tickets. You know, like Frankie Muniz probably paid like $7,000 or whatever for his ticket. He's walking around with 2 or 3 people following him with microphones and stuff.
No. Apparently, for look, celebrities will get free pass.
Wait,
you're right. Like to something like this, that's the thing. And apparently, they also had like, but they never showed it on camera. They just Ted mentioned this. They had the guy from Fraser, like what's his name, Kelsey Grammer or whatever. He was like apparently a personal guest of Liberty Media. Like he was there. Like
he was there for this weekend.
Yeah,
I guess he must be like car collector or something like that.
I don't know, but who knows? Because they never actually showed him.
That guy's probably like $100 million there from that Fraser on syndication
and Cheers.
Oh yeah, he's on both.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. He's on both of those.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he's $100 million for sure. He's like a guy like Jay Leno money. He's probably got same thing, 5 garages full of sports cars.
It's fuck you money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Quick those F1 experiences though. Anyone just go check it out. Just go f1experiences.com and just see what's available. If you want to see the price, you have to send an email and describe like, here's what I do for a living. I can afford this. Don't worry. Tell me the price. That's the kind of shit they're ask. Yeah, it's the kind of shit they're selling.
I just want to make a comment. And and get your guys' thoughts on it. Do you think this Ferrari stunt would have happened?
It's not a stunt. Come on. It was a nice, heartwarming thing.
Genuine. I believe you. But do you think it would have happened during the reign of Bernie Ecclestone?
No, absolutely not.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Right.
No way. Because they would have had to have even the ability to create passes. So this kid has his own like VIP pass.
Like right. Look around his neck.
They were even building up to actually when I think Martin for Martin's grid walk this morning. Martin was saying something like they gave each driver like he's like he was looking around. He's like, holy shit! Like look at. There's so many people.
Walking around.
Walking around. He's
they
like,
did it like that.
Boom.
They just got because they were talking about Chase Carey and them. One of those guys, I forget who now, was saying like it should be like if you see a NASCAR or Indy race, like before the race starts, it's packed down there. There's no reason it shouldn't be here. Like they want more people to have the opportunity to get in there. Never mind just to look cool on TV.
And these British people, they're like, I feel of them were like, oh, it's nice, but we still have to, they might have to dial it down a little bit because we still have to preserve the exclusivity of the sport. Don't worry, this is better for.
There's 8 billion people. There's only a few hundred in the paddock.
Yes,
more people need to get in there.
They know that all this stuff, I mean, call it what you will, but even if you want to call this a stunt or whatever, or like a populist move, or call it what you want to call it, this kind of attention to just the customer focused, like the focus on pleasing the fans, this is only gonna make the sport better. Because more people will turn their eyes to the sport. They know that people have
policing for a second.
No. People know that they have like they're coming around to the idea. Like I actually Cyril Abiteboul said this in the press conference that people have other choices now with what to do with their time, and not everybody like is gonna just go out of their way to spend like a couple hours of their day to watch to even like attempt to follow a sport that has such a high barrier of entry as Formula One. So all of this fan focused activities and fan focused stunts, call it what you will, is only going to be better because what you want is to be as accessible to fans as possible.
Right.
Cast a really, really, really wide net, and then the people will come. And if you make it worth it, even if this won't happen again ever, and this was just like I said, a stunt or whatever, but because of that, more people just feel like they might maybe something cool like that and crazy like that might happen to me, and maybe it only has to happen like a couple more times for that to be totally worth it. Trust me.
Post qualifying too, they did the interviews on the pit straight in front of the grandstand.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. Instead of going back to the swooshy blue room.
Yeah,
I mean, where they usually do they did the interview like right there on the main straight. It was pretty cool. Everyone seemed kind of nervous. That Will Buxton did the interview, but it was like basically like they finished qualifying, parked the cars, got out, and they walked straight to the main straight. But yeah, it was interesting.
All of these ideas, they're gonna be.
Yeah, they're just.
It's only gonna make it crazier and crazier like that. I can't wait to see where they're gonna bring for Canada. I know that there's not a lot that you can do in Monaco, probably, and in Monaco,
imagine the zip line you could set up there from the casino all the way down to the port. Oh my god!
Down the water to like some sort of a raft there waiting for you. They take you back in a canoe.
This is Monaco. You're gonna have like a
40, for Monaco.
Yeah, like a 40-meter yacht waiting. Never mind.
Go a zip line from the casino into Kimi's yacht.
All the way at the top corner. Yeah, the casino square. All the way at the highest point. Off the roof even. All the way down. Oh my god. It's so fun. During the race?
No, but you know what? I think
zip line rides?
I mean, I don't think they're gonna be like doing a lot of like really, really open to the fans thing in Monaco, just because you probably do want to keep at least one of the races as like, like kind of like celebrity safe space.
You have to have at least 20 diamonds on your person to get down on the paddock.
Yeah. You gotta get one of those Amex that are like made with titanium or whatever. Like Have you heard about this? You know about this?
It's a level above the black card.
No, like the card itself is actually made with titanium.
So it's a level above the black card.
I honestly don't know how it works, but I heard that they won't just give you those away to anybody.
Oh no! Even like the black card visa, you have to have a spending minimum of 250,000 just to qualify for that.
So that's like a lot of companies have them, right?
Yeah.
And they just fucking spend shit on it.
Just
do it. We want to keep the black card.
Absolute. But okay, going back to the race though. After that round of pit stops where we saw Vettel go just ahead of Lewis. That's like when the race really like would have normally died down. You know, like that was like
right.
Right in the middle of the race, right? Like when it's usually like the little lull.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually one of the most exciting parts of the race because you could see like two guys at the top of their game, really just giving it all, man. Like they were really like
it was close,
throwing the car around. Lewis
on the radio, you could hear him panting. They're playing radio messages.
Yeah. Not just once, man. Like a few times, like Lewis was like, okay, yeah.
Crofty came up with the same joke as me. Right as I was texting it to you during the race, it sounded like he had Roscoe in the car with him, panting. He couldn't keep his breath.
Then and that says another like that obviously sends this other message that these cars like they are what they said they are. Like if you are hitting that 5G around the corner more consistently for longer now, that will put like a ridiculous stress on your body.
The turn 3 on that circuit is crazy. You're just going, just turning right as hard as you can and going as fast as you can.
And just the physicality that you would have to have. Now,
it's like 5G just squashing you.
Brundle said that he didn't hear like any other driver like really like seeming to struggle like that. So he's like, oh, I don't know if like they
maybe that was just part of their sandbagging on the radio,
maybe they like he was saying like maybe they moved the microphone to a different location and like you
in
just
his
couldn't.
Nostril.
Yeah, it was something like that. But when they asked Lewis after the race, he actually like he was like, no man, like
he was tired.
Yeah, he's like, that was a lot of hard work and I can see that, man. So like he was out driving his car, believe it or not, Lewis was, but you couldn't tell relative to the other guy because Vettel was also out there out driving the car just as good. That was great to see. Great Formula One. Even though by the end of they were pushing so hard. That's how you have to read it. Both of them were pushing so hard that they ended up almost lapping the third guy, the guy in third place. Daniel Ricciardo almost got lapped.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
By less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was.
Or about 10 seconds, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was an epic battle, and like I think, this one, it was towards the end, Vettel had no choice pretty much. Like he kept saying like, man, this guy, he's coming at me like a torpedo, like a train. He's like Lewis, it was like a train. Like he couldn't fend him off towards the end, and try as they might, like they did try to recover, but there was no way that they were going to jump back.
One last thing I'll say that was kind of lame that I guess it's the FIA changed that they didn't need to and shouldn't have. Yeah. I think reactionary after people complaining about not enough passing happening in Russia. They lengthened the DRS zone on the circuit.
Verstappen wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that. They shouldn't have done that. And it was only a few meters or something too.
100.
100?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or 100 feet. I don't remember, but it was 100. 100 of something. Either meters or feet.
Probably meters.
Yeah.
Unless you read it on NBCSports.com.
No, it was the Skyboy said it.
Yeah, that's me. There's going to be a meters. Maybe not, though.
Yeah, is it? I don't remember. Anyway, Anthony Davidson did he went through like how exactly how that was.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess everybody knows by now, but Alonso finished the whole race.
Yes. P13, I believe.
13, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he finished it.
Actually, people were even saying that points might have even been possible for Alonso. Obviously, yeah, P12. There we go. Look at that. He did an amazing job.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He said right after, he's like, after this interview, I'm gonna go go to the airport and I fly to the U.S. to start driving the IndyCar at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Tomorrow morning. Yes, he's got his first practice.
Eastern time, so like he's coming from Europe.
This guy's a machine.
He's a machine.
He's so like his performance. He definitely outdrove the car for qualifying, and now this was like we were even just saying, it was basically the biggest story of the weekend until the race happened. That Alonso was able to finish or to qualify in 7th. It was an unbelievable lap. He actually.
It's just gonna get more hype tomorrow when he's out practicing. That's gonna get a whole bunch of people watching him on YouTube again.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna miss him at Monaco?
No, I think it'll be interesting to see Button and what he can do.
You're gonna watch him on the Indianapolis.
I know what Alonso's gonna be able to do in.
Button's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, he will. And he'll offer some insight. Button is gonna offer some interesting insight as to like, because he has in his memory, he has like how were like the previous year's cars at the peak of their performance, right? Now, like he's gonna get an idea of what
drove the 04s.
Yeah, that's true.
They were super high revving, less gears. Now there's low revving, super torquey.
And obviously he's gonna land in a McLaren, so like it's not like he's gonna get like an idea of like the full power of these of these cars, but he's gonna get a good idea of like how different
a fuel line failure, or turbo blows up, or some bullshit in the first lap. I hope he gets to actually drive it and entertain us a bit.
Absolutely, me too. But
a little bit of Button.
Here's why, like I'm not gonna miss Alonso. Like, to answer your question, because I know what Alonso would have done. He would have outdriven the car, the shit out of the car. He would have
so much
maybe
so that it would just not finish.
He might even if everything went his way, he might have finished, and he would have finished like, let's say he would have finished in the points. Let's say he got like, I don't know, a 9th position at the end of the race for some miracle, 9th or 8th even.
Yeah.
2, 3 points, 4 points. Who cares? Like, we know that he can do that. It would be no surprise. Like, right? Like, one thing that Martin Brundle was saying. He's like, oh, like shit. Like Alonso outdrove the car. No surprise there, right? Like we know that
this is already right.
So that's why it's just gonna be good to see him attempt something new for sure. And I think that's gonna reinvigorate him and like just give him that motivation to come back and come back strong.
Right.
And whereas that might put Mercedes or McLaren in a situation where they might not score some points, potentially that Alonso could have given them. I think overall, in terms of investment in their image and PR and whatever else, it'll pay off. And keeping Alonso happy.
Right.
And keeping Alonso happy, for sure.
A quick question about the McLaren car. What kind of style does it prefer in terms of a type of circuit? Like something...
They can't say that yet.
They can't say... But
they just don't have enough power.
Is it the power? So
no. They're like when a car... The thing is that when a car...
Definitely not the power because they don't have it.
No. They don't have any power. So if the car is simply underperforming in every way, you don't get to like, pick and choose like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just you're trying to make every single lap count. Like you're just trying to like, and save the tires, save the this. I guess if anything, like it would probably just favor like a very like mild driver, like that would like be able to like nurse the
thing.
Van
Dorn?
Yeah, like right,
or
like
Jensen.
Yeah, like exactly.
I'm just gonna take Miss Daisy for a drive.
But I wouldn't be able to like tell you like, oh, if it's gonna be like if it really like favors like this like the long sweeping corners or this or that, because they're not even able to push enough to get a point where they're attacking.
What I'm trying to say is that like Monaco is a tight track, right? It's a tight city circuit.
Oh yeah.
And that it would make a difference for them because everybody's speeds go all the way down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden top speed doesn't matter as much. And there's certain things that you can do even with an underpowered engine to like you could just like completely change the engine mapping and the gears themselves so that, let's say,
You can't change the gears.
right, or you can play around with some things. You can make the gears smart enough to accommodate for something like this, like so that they basically they could just give in simple terms, to simplify it, oversimplify it, they could just give the car a lot of acceleration under lower speeds. Still, like they don't need like a huge engine for that,
Right.
And that might maybe like bring them more into contention with the top cars. And this is true, has been true in Monaco since the race started. It's kind of like Monaco is a place where like because of that's where you can like really most of the time it's just a procession, but sometimes you can make something work out of the bag, like what Senna did with the toll man. Like,
do you guys know what place he placed last year?
Who?
Alonso and the McLaren.
No, what's that? What?
Fifth
In Monaco.
Yeah,
with that
McLaren.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Jensen came in 9th. I just find it very interesting. I feel like this would have been a strong race for McLaren. I'm not saying that, Sergio Perez came in 3rd.
Yeah.
Denny Rick in 2nd, Lewis Hamilton in 1st.
Very
interesting.
Last year was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be sad not to have Alonso there, but he's not gonna be fighting at the top anyway. So it'll be like it's just gonna be an exciting race no matter what. Even if it's a procession, it's just gonna be good to see the guys like wrestling the cars around, because you know that like Monaco this year might be like let's see who doesn't crash with these wider, faster cars. Yeah. But even that is interesting to see. I mean, I find it interesting to see, but I know that like it's not something that if it could be one of those boring races. I hope it's not, but it could be.
Right.
Yeah. Like
I feel like Monaco's always just exciting.
Yeah.
The very nature of the circuit is just breeds like, holy shit.
Yeah, and even if it's a procession, and even if it's one of those where like whoever it's on pole wins. you still find something to love about it.
They're fighting more so. It's not like, it's not like you could just run off the track so very easily on any other circuit. No, if something fucks up, it fucks up big.
Yeah,
and that makes
the
something
best qualifying of the year.
Yeah. Because they really have to fight the car,
really
and they have to fight the circuit, right?
Absolutely,
which is really cool. I'm I think tonight I'm gonna play F1 just on Monaco, just because it's an interesting track visually, right?
Absolutely,
it's something about it that's really.
I'm definitely looking forward to Monaco, but then also after watching the race this morning, I'm very much looking forward to Singapore.
Ooh,
because
the night race.
The night race, and the heat. That's the one that is really. It goes
this might be the last
2 hours.
The last Singapore.
Could be the last.
Rumored.
They were talking about like the buddy from actually the dude from the Singapore Grand Prix was on the at the starting grid with Bernie.
Oh,
Bernie was So Brundle saw Bernie, and then he saw like Buddy from Singapore. He was there. They were definitely negotiating that.
Well, he said that he didn't think Singapore needed, like Singapore had established itself now as a world city, world financial center, world hub, whatever, that they didn't think they needed the F1 race so much anymore, especially at the whatever they were paying for it. They don't need it. They don't need it for the price they're paying for it, but they'd probably love it for cheaper.
They're just, of course, they're just trying to renegotiate.
They need it down in like the 20-some millions, not the 50s. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully it continues though, and bring back the sling, man.
Yes, bring back the Singapore. Yeah, with these faster cars, that would be beautiful.
Boom, boom,
pa, 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 pa.
Oh yeah.
This was a corner where like they basically ended up like just bouncing the tires hard. Each car, that's how they ended up approaching it. That was somehow the fastest way to go through it. Just bounce the tires hard.
Left, right, left.
Yeah, it was like left, right, left. But then you just
the Singapore sling.
Bounce the tires against the curb. So there's 3 curbs, and they just every car looked like they were going like pow, 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 pow.
Straight through like almost like what is that, like sculling? No. It's called sculling, that ski thing in the Olympics where they just destroy their knees going down.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Skeleton Bob.
Skeleton. There we go.
Yeah.
Sculling. Sculling's ice skating where you make circles.
Wow.
You make circles with your feet.
And another thing that came out of the, I mean, or that I found interesting, talking about the weekend, is how now everybody keeps saying.
Are you sure skeleton's not that face first when you go down the luge, the bobsled?
I thought that's what you're talking about.
No, where you go skiing, where you destroy your knees, where you do like that. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, that's moguls.
Moguls. Okay.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with skeleton.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say another thing that people were talking about throughout this weekend, especially in the build-up to the weekend. For some reason, there's this notion that right now, F1 is like, they bring the example that like at the end of the race, the performance gap in between like the top teams and then the rest of the pack is so huge, like everything is like so uneven, like, and these new cars and these new regulations, like they're actually making the cars like, less like, more and more far apart from each other or whatever, right? You've heard this. I think we've heard this all year round, that all of a sudden this, these regulations are like, doing the opposite when it comes to like bringing the bunch closer together, especially at the top.
There's rumors that Mercedes might be helping out Honda to boost up their engine.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
technology.
This is what I was saying. Like that's what they asked Toto Wolff, and he said no comment.
Yeah, there's a bunch of crazy theories about it. The other one is that like Zach Brown was seen over at Mercedes this weekend, so that's what's fueling it. But some people think like we figured this out. I think like a few months ago, it was pretty obvious that Sauber was throwing away this year on Aero to run the 2016 Ferrari engine.
Yeah.
And prepare to run Honda next year for 2018.
Yeah.
And but now some people are thinking that McLaren might just pay some sort of penalty or like fight it out in court, whatever they think they owe to Honda, break their contract and go to Mercedes. Some people think that Mercedes, I heard another rumor that Mercedes is just going to quit racing in 2020 at the end of this engine era, but continue building engines for the technology side and providing them.
They wouldn't
and having McLaren
racing altogether.
Like
no, because they have that Formula E campaign. They've already signed that. That's a deal. That's happening.
No. We're just talking about F1 here.
Oh, okay.
But that they'll stop the F1 racing team, but
that
just become an engine provider, and that.
And then go race with a works team on Formula E. That would be bad for Formula One.
Why? They build the technology on both sides. They're just building technology on both sides.
But McLaren they would no. For them to have a works race team in Formula E and not in Formula One, that would say something. That would send a message.
Well, like, yeah, of course. That's where the world is at. Yeah. That's happening anyway with Tesla, etc.
No, I know, but there's gotta be.
Volkswagen just said this past week, like just outside of racing, as a car company, they want to become a bigger electric car producer than Tesla. So they're building out their electric thing majorly now.
Okay.
They've announced it publicly. Well, that's just where all the car companies are going, right? Yeah. But anyway, these are just crazy rumors. Either McLaren's gonna quit with Honda completely and go with the Mercedes, or they'll just have two teams. With Sauber being the second Honda team. Maybe they'll fix it. Maybe McLaren's gonna help them fix their engine. Mm-hmm. Just give them a few hints about maybe just tweak this a little bit, change this upside down, put a screw here. Tighten up that bolt, and maybe their engine
maybe that would be
finally work properly.
Maybe that would be that might be a way to appease the contract.
Maybe even Liberty's putting money both sides to like let's just
just having that arrangement might be a way to sort of alleviate the breaching of the contract, like just by saying like we'll breach the contract but we'll help you guys out,
help them out as well. Give them a boost.
Hey, that's
for whatever reason, Honda just
they have to do something. They have to do something because
this formula.
Yeah, they have to do something because you can't keep
just haven't.
You can't go back. I mean, you can even if they had not improved, if they had stayed at the same level as last year, that would in a way, like, still be better than where they're at. Well, I mean, no, in every single way, it would be better than where they are right now, with no proven performance and no signs that they will go anywhere with it. In one of the not this race, I think it was for the previous race, for the Russian Grand Prix, Hasegawa or whatever, he was there, the Honda guy, on the Thursday, and he admitted that what happened is that they thought they ran some models back in Japan for the engine. They knew that they needed to work on the internal combustion part,
right?
Like the typical engine, as much as they had to work on all the electrical bits, the green bits. Yeah. So for the internal combustion part of it, they did like a model to test it with one cylinder, and the one cylinder model worked and like gave some results and some predicted shit. And then
I read about this.
When they scaled it to the V6, to the 6 cylinders, they were like, oh, something happened when we scaled it. We don't know what that is yet. We're still working on figuring it out, but it turns out that our projection of like the boost of power that we're supposed to have, one cylinder versus 6 cylinders, was nowhere near the mark. It was nowhere near the mark, and that means they need, like, they basically need a whole new design. That's what that means. That like there's no two way. Like maybe they could
they're
just
on their second whole new design right now.
Yeah, so they can't keep sweeping
They're
like
almost
this.
on their third.
If you but maybe if you do wanna build up your like R&D possibilities and whatever, like you wanna like not spend that much money on it, whatever, like you would allow yourself to take enough time and like enough years to like work around a project, but they don't have the luxury of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did see this right after the race. Yeah, they waited till the end of the weekend for this.
Force India getting a 25,000 euro fine for breach of delivery regulations.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, just finished that, like that Honda stuff. What it's a whole bunch of rumors and speculation. I guess we'll find out in the next couple weeks. What's the real story? But for now, they got handed 25,000 euro fine for not having a very well visible number. So as far as I understand it, they either need to have the driver number or the driver letters, the 3-letter code.
Yeah.
Not both, or not the whole name or anything like that.
The
So
the number makes more sense, I
The
think.
2 numbers or the 3 letters, whichever.
I think you can I think the number is probably going to be where everything converges, because it doesn't take.
Not challenged about the numbers prior to the race. So these were not changed during the event.
Surprisingly, this is one of the, I guess, good things, except for people who only like to look at the helmets, whatever. This is one of the good things that was actually started though by Bernie though, which was the driver number permanent numbers.
Yes.
Which, whatever. That's good. Whatever.
Well,
Lewis got his tattooed on his head.
I think we can all agree that not everything that Bernie did was bad.
No,
just most of what he did was bad.
Yeah, this is good. It's kind of great. Like if you've seen an Indy race, they actually have on the side of the cars like an LCD board, like those two, oldie style alarm clock with the 2 figure 8s of lit up numbers.
Yeah,
where they show drivers the position you're in and whatever shit like that.
Yeah,
LCD board.
But that's common of all kinds of other racing series nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially the stuff and the stuff that races in like several categories, like the IMSA. I don't know if they're still doing that. Are they still doing the IMSA series? I think they are. And touring cars and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So that the technology's there, and it can't be that heavy. They should stamp those on the side of Formula 1 cars, maybe.
Nobody needs that, but the Formula 1's been
why not?
For 70, 65, 7 years, whatever. You don't need those electronic signs. You don't need the numbers even big. You just need a camera pod, yellow or black.
Or like a...
Or the helmet, if you really wanted Look at the helmet.
What if they had like little like these
I like the
like
permanent
little
numbers.
drones following each car, like holding a
fast-ass
holding a
drones.
sign showing their position. You
Oh
know,
my God.
If they
you know,
hire
like
one hamster?
Lucky 2. If they had 20 Lucky 2s,
What is that?
look up like that character. It's a Nintendo character. But
Picturing like a hamster riding
you,
around
you,
on a
you know that
quadcopter.
like it's like a dude that lives on a cloud.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up.
but you know what I mean, like obviously I'm being facetious and ridiculous, but they
from Super Mario.
yeah, but they should definitely. What's gonna change the whole game, and we're talking about this, is when they build like the freaking
Corkscrew jobs.
No, like we're talking about, you know, people from the future and shit. No, with
Corkscrew
the
jobs.
AR, augmented reality.
Oh yeah.
Where you are like that's where the world is going, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's like people have like in within F1 have been talking about this for a while, that eventually when that shit picks up, like you will be able to see, like if you go to the races, like either by wearing something or whatever,
Yeah.
like the car will be zooming past you and you'll be able to see like all kinds of information about it.
Yeah.
You know, how fast it's going, who's in the car, whatever else.
So add like a little
Yeah,
thing
what
to
lap,
your
how many
spectacles, and then
We were talking just a bit ago about the F1 game not being like
3D.
compatible with Oculus Rift or with the VR yet, but
yeah.
as like we've been talking about, they want the TV experience to be compatible as well. So the
Yeah.
game won't be far behind, or it'll be ahead and pull the TV thing into it.
It's funny because
Go on.
like the implementation of VR within like a gaming world is not that difficult to do. It's really just like the amount of time you want to put into it.
Yeah.
And if they do it for this one, they'll be doing it for the next one.
The whole model of like
Well,
how
they're
they
probably going to
distribute
do it
that
for
game.
the 2017, but the problem is the market for VR is quite small, right? It's
Picture
just
as far as VR, sports, and combining the two with like a live race event or a live sport event of any sport, racing is the most realistic to make happen, because you can buy like an electronic steering wheel with force feedback on pedals and shit. You can buy that for fairly cheap. There's no cost, basically no cost to entry. You just need fast internet. The races are live. But so imagine like for baseball, hockey, tennis, like you can't compete along with the live event in your living room. But with racing, you can.
You could.
And this is not even just exclusive to F1, but all racing, as the United Brotherhood of Racing, just for NASCAR, Indy, WRC, any kind of racing you can imagine. You can do that sport in your house. You can't do boxing. You can't do hockey. You can't play soccer in your living room live along with the event on TV. Like you'd be watching it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the
Racing,
Mercedes
you
car,
can, though.
and I'm gonna race alongside them.
Yeah, if you have the telemetry of all the cars on the circuit, you can race along as like
Just act like a virtual, like a ghost, as if you're a ghost car.
You're the
Ghost
21st driver in your living room at home.
Oh, that'd be fucking cool.
How amazing would that be?
Not
How
it
cool would
would.
that be?
It will.
So
It
will
will
be.
be that cool.
People are working on building this as fast as they can. All these VR
McLaren
companies.
a few days ago, it was like within the past couple weeks, they announced this contest where you can be their simulator driver.
Oh yeah,
by like working your way up through the video games. Like yes, they are. So they're looking. Their next sim driver is gonna like be like. Fuck, I forgot what they call it. They're looking for the fastest gamer in the world.
recruited from the internet.
Yeah,
basically.
the world's fastest gamer. That's what they're looking
But don't forget, this isn't the first one of these though. The Sony.
Yeah, but it's the first one in F1.
Yeah.
In F1, it's unprecedented, but it has been done with
Sony, Polyphony, and Gran
Gran
Turismo
Turismo,
did that with the whatever that was called. But it was tied with Nissan.
Yes.
Sony, Polyphony, and Nissan did that a couple of years ago, and it was a kid from India won it. If you want to check him out, and then he races in professional, like in sports cars. Professional racing cars. He worked his way up with GT3 type of shit.
McLaren
Races
and
GTR.
Logitech are teaming together.
Right.
McLaren and Logitech.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
which makes sense. You chance doing a great job.
Yeah, they pretty much have cornered the market
it's
when it comes to
sports thing.
So I'm surprised. I don't actually
What is that?
know
What,
if,
oh, okay.
if the other one with Nissan and Sony is even still going, or if they did that more than 1 year. But even like the one I'm talking about was actually 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. Anyway, it was a while ago.
Logitech has pretty much cornered the market when it comes to steering wheels, eh?
It's Logitech, and then there's maybe you know there's another company that does like really expensive ones. They're like Italian, like they're like really good.
I feel like
video game wheels.
yeah, I was looking up wheels, but
The Logitech ones range up to like a couple $100, but these guys go into the low thousands. But it's like, you know, they're like wrapped in leather and shit. But yeah, like if you go to Best Buy, you're not gonna find the ones I'm talking about.
No. But no, actually, yeah. When you were looking to get a steering wheel,
yeah,
I started looking into some too, just to see like what was out there, and yeah, there's some crazy variation price ranges.
Yeah,
pretty
it's either
insane.
like
It goes from like fun to like pretty serious.
it's like you're taking this like as like a pseudo job.
Yeah, do you think this is a joke kind of price tag?
yeah.
I tell you, the one I have is from the PS1, and I bought it from a guy in a Tim Hortons parking lot for $30, and that was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
When we lived together, still way back then. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's a lot. So I mean, there's Logitech, there's Thrustmaster.
Thrustmaster.
Yeah, it's called
what a
Thrustmaster.
great name.
But like, I'm just on Amazon here, and
that's
so
just a stand.
they got a stand
That's
for
just
it.
a
Look at this
stand.
kind of shit.
Sim racing. There's a huge community out there for
gate
this.
shifter.
Oh yeah, man.
That one has a gate shifter. That one I didn't even know these things came with like, clutch pedals.
Oh yeah, they get pretty detailed, man.
Ooh, look, that one's has like a spaceship controller.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Oh, that's a farming simulator wheel. That's
No.
That's to drive the John Deere.
Oh my
You
god.
gotta lower the combine and
Oh my god.
gotta
That's
put,
Buy the
hilarious.
shit out of that.
gotta put the corn reaper in low gear.
It even has this knob in the front, like as if your steering wheel was huge.
like a bus driver where you like pass it between them.
Oh, this is hilarious.
How many buttons? That is the official farming simulator control package.
God, there's farming
Sounds like-
simulators. I did not know that. You learned something new.
That farming simulator is serious. Ooh, look into it. It's serious.
Yeah, Danny and I were just talking about it. It just went on sale. There was like Euro or sorry, not
Oh,
farming simulator. We were talking about truck simulator.
The truck simulator.
Yeah.
The farming simulator is way more serious. You have to pick which brand of tractors you want, the attachments, the trailers. You need seeders, those machines that sprays fertilizer and pesticides.
And it comes in
reapers.
like a multiplayer form as well, so you and your friends can like all farm a field
Oh
together.
Jesus!
Oh, yeah,
Hilarity
great.
ensues.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to the topic of farming pretty quick somehow, but just to bring it back to F1 now, I guess, just to close, if we can close soon, I guess.
Yeah. I think I finished all my most of my notes.
Jean Todt was on the grid as well,
Mhm.
and they're talking about him standing in his recent announcement to stand for re-election as the FIA president. We knew that this was coming, so the next elections for the FIA
I
are
thought he wouldn't run again.
it's coming up. It's coming up soon, actually.
I hoped he
think-
wouldn't run again.
Yeah, it's this year anyway. At some point in this year, like I think it's before the summer ends, this will be a thing. The new FIA president will be chosen, and
What do we? how
this
do we vote?
is a. Now he used to be like he was just like more of a threat before, I
He
think,
used
like
to be
because
cool, man.
well no he was a little bit worse for the sport before because of his inactivity, his lack of action when action needed to be taken. He did nothing when the sport was tanking and Bernie was just doing ridiculous shit. He did nothing to keep Bernie in check the way that Max Mosley would have, and that was actually for the detriment of the sport for a little bit. We as F1 fans were like treated like fools basically. for a period of time there, and
we,
it was
we know what's good for you.
yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, he said
Yeah,
that. He
that's
said that.
pretty much what it is,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So
No.
Yeah.
Papa will take care of you.
yeah.
All right, I'll give you what you want.
What do you know, Jean? So
Yeah.
he's standing for re-election. So up until this point, he is uncontested. So unless somebody does something, and somebody tried to do something the last time, I really do hope that there is still some moral fiber left in the Place de la Concorde, and somebody, coming from the woods, from somewhere in there, because that's the point. It has to be someone from within the FIA already that can pretty much get away with running, or at least they have to have
How
like a lot of
incestuous.
report. It's very, 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 because you don't run as yourself. You have to run, and you have to run with like 19 other people at the same time in your ticket, because you're running to get to basically elect not just you but your whole cabinet.
The whole like chairmanship.
Yeah.
The whole circle of.
And some of those positions, actually, I think like
circle of bros.
pretty much all of those positions, you're only eligible to apply for them if you've been in the FIA for long enough. It's it opens the door for a lot of corruption and a lot of incestuousness.
It probably
for
helps if you're French too.
Oh, absolument. And this has got to stop, honestly, because and the sooner that it happens, and I just hope that Liberty Media quickly realizes that the last piece of the puzzle in fixing the sport is fixing the way and the speed at which the regulations react, and get the regulatory body to work for the benefit of the sport, not just for the benefit of a few politicians that want to keep flying around the world.
So easy to change something about something. So like if there's a character that is overpowered, it gets changed within like 2 weeks. Right. And this idea it has such a breath of fresh air, because it's not working, so let's change it.
Yes.
We listen to the fans. As a developer, they have to listen to the fans. They have to go with their own instincts, and they have to sort of combine them. It's like, what do we want this? How do we want this to play? Right. And I wish older sports like racing, hockey, baseball, anything, soccer you can think of, it's like you can change it immediately. And I don't see why you can't change sports like that quicker.
And I think the debate obviously like is completely open for any sport, but I think it's even more relevant so for motor racing, and particularly Formula One. It's as the pinnacle of motor racing, because as we've discussed in this show before, the car is technology, and technology is moving at such a rate that is outpacing every single way that we have to even control it at this point. Like governments around the world are not keeping up with the advance of technology. This is patently obvious for anybody that cares to look. And by that same token, governance of anything is just not built efficiently enough to be able to react to the changes that are happening quick enough. And that's you can't just hope to accurately respond to the changing world by meeting 5 times a year. You know what I mean?
God, no. That's ridiculous. That seems so insane to me.
Yeah, but it used to work back then, right? Like, and it's fine. And listen, there's certain things that worked in the 70s that just don't work anymore.
You get to go by a propeller plane and then drive for a few hours.
Do you know why F-Zero exists? You know why it's called F-Zero?
Why?
It's because it's the future of Formula One. They don't call it G0. They don't call it, B0. They call it F-Zero. It's the next. It's a hypothetical future of Formula One racing, which is like these ultra fucking crazy fast cars going around
crazy circuits,
Circuits collecting runes.
You're thinking about Mario Kart. You're thinking about something else. But essentially,
I know what F-Zero is for sure.
It is the pinnacle of the future motorsport.
Future motorsport.
Of at least how they think that things could go eventually.
Right, exactly. Right. It's obviously it's a fantasy.
And there is no, but that's a conversation that definitely has to happen at one point. Yeah. Maybe at one point, the idea of a car would cease to be like relevant even or whatever, and then maybe at that point there has to be a conversation of whether or not if the sport like in order for the sport to like keep moving forward, they have to like adapt to like whatever, call it flying cars, just to be hypothetical or whatever,
It's based on technology, right?
But the real tragedy is that if we get to a point where that question should be asked, but it can't be asked given because certain bodies just would not allow it,
right?
And that's definitely a thing where the FIA is definitely lacking. Like right now, the FIA.
You can ask one question: Is the future of Formula One always going to be with a combustible engine?
Well, but regardless of the answer, that's what I'm saying. Regardless of the answer, you have to make sure that the system of governance is efficient enough to be able to answer that question in the best way possible.
Right.
And right now, it simply isn't.
Right, but we can speculate on that.
Oh no, we can speculate all we want, but that's what I'm saying. So the bottom line is the FIA needs to change the way it's run right now,
right?
Because it's not keeping up with how fast the sport is moving,
right?
And that's
or technology
in
general,
and it won't if people like Jean Todt is still in place,
right?
It just simply won't. And Liberty Media, like I said, they're gonna find this out sooner or later.
Yeah. They're like, oh wait, there's a whole whack of fuckery about, and we're gonna have to fix it or do something about it. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all sort of in agreement that like so far, Liberty Media seems to be doing.
They're doing everything right.
Awesome.
What we want them to do, right?
Yeah, good shit.
Yeah,
that's been amazing.
Interesting. We'll see what happens, right?
On that positive note, I think we can.
Are we gonna end it here?
I think so.
Oh my god, guys, this is the first time we've ended it here in a very long time.
I know. I miss this place.
I know, right? Hold on, let me just talk amongst
ourselves.
And
happy Mother's Day to anybody that's out there listening to us that happens to be a mother. Happy Mother's Day.
Lewis's mom.
Oh, wait. Can you turn down the volume? Like just one sec. I just want to say something. So Natalie Pinkham was back reporting from the paddock and in Spain, and I don't know how she did it, man. But now after she just had her second kid. After 2 kids, she's like skinnier and more smoking now than she was before somehow.
Yeah, so with her new Sky shirt.
Yeah. Anyway,
New Sky
all right,
shirt
put this. Get us out of here.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Yeah.